What's up guys, Eric the Human here, your trusty pack beast with a Strixhaven prediction video. I am currently recording this the morning of, oh my gosh, what day is it? It's the 22nd of March, which is super late, and I should have done this probably a month ago, but I'm doing it now, and I have some cool predictions, so let's get started with a couple really cool ones that I think will happen. So, starting off, I think Kazmina from War of the Spark will... What? I'm sorry? They just spoiled Kazmina an hour ago, right before I started, while I was finishing writing the script for this video. They spoiled her? Fantastic. So, my biggest prediction that I came up with, probably when Strixhaven was announced, was that Kazmina was going to come back. Don't know why, just had a feeling. Then I looked into her lore, and I was like, oh, she's definitely going to show up, because if you don't know, let me read off real quick what her lore is. Because she only has one card, and it's from War of the Spark. She just showed up. She has no idea where her plane is, no idea. But for whatever reason, she gave me Strixhaven vibes. So, here is the lore about Kazmina. She is the leader of an ancient secret order of planeswalkers, a shadowy cabal with mysterious aims. Her larger goals are unknown, but her recent obsession is recruitment. Her preferred method is to identify what she calls embers, non-ignited planeswalkers. She helps these mages to discover their potential, even if it means causing trauma to ignite their spark, and then indoctrinating them into the ways of her order. Literally, my other predictions were like based around this without even knowing this. So I immediately was like, oh yeah, Kazmina, that sounds interesting. And I was right. And then it got spoiled, and you guys can believe me or not, but I was right that Kazmina was going to show up in Strixhaven, and I felt great about it until I just saw it spoiled. So here's the card. You can look at it. Let me read off real quick. So I have it actually right here. Kazmina Enigma Sage. She is a 3-mana planeswalker, 1 in Simic colors, and it's a 2 loyalty planeswalker. And getting a bunch of texts. And each other planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kazmina Enigma Sage. She's got +2 ability of Scry 1 and a -X. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X+1/+1 counters on it. And then -8, search your library for an instance or sorcery card that shares a color with this planeswalker. Exile that card, then shuffle. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Pretty wild. I didn't have any predictions on what she was going to be like. I thought she was going to be a teacher. That's what I thought. But, yeah, I was right. I'm really upset that I didn't record this video earlier because I've had Kazmina on my list of predictions for about a month now. Okay, moving on. I think there will be a Stormlight... You've got to be kidding me. What? They previewed a secret Liliana Planeswalker card that has a thing that's kind of relevant to Storm mechanics. Yep. That got spoiled too. Literally, why I'm recording this is because, of all people, Danny Trejo, which I think is awesome, spoiled this card right here, which is Professor Onyx, which, if you read the Planeswalker subline, it says Liliana Planeswalker. So this is Liliana after War of the Spark, after she's run away and Planeswalked away. Great. Very cool. Love it. Magecraft is the first line on here. Whenever you cast or copy a instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. There are some copy abilities right now in Standard, but not a lot. So that means there's going to be a Stormlight mechanic similar to like Thousand Year Storm from the last Ravnica block. That I love that card. It's very cool. Something like that is going to happen, I believe. And this supports it. So, 2 for 2 so far. Is there anything else that's been spoiled that I haven't seen? I'm not going to look at anything else until the end of the video, and then I'll update. I promise right now it is 11:18. I haven't gone on Twitter or Reddit since I saw the Liliana post. Those are the only 2 cards spoiled so far. I think we have images of the commanders that are coming out, but I'm not looking at those. Not looking at them. So, moving on. I think Prowess will probably make a return. Not super... I don't think so, but I think it might have a small chance of returning. Prowess, if you don't know, is basically... Or maybe it's going to be like Wizard Prowess that they introduced in Zendikar Rising. If you don't know, it basically means whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, and then with Zendikar Rising, a wizard spell, that creature gets +1/+1. I forget if it's until end of turn or not. Could be wrong, but I think that'll be coming back. There's a lot of wizards. This is a wizarding school. If you don't know, Strixhaven is a wizarding school, not akin to Harry Potter. Not unlike Harry Potter, I should say. And there's 5 schools. I'll go over those in a little bit because they are a part of my predictions. And yeah, I mean, I think that's going to return. The other mechanic I think is going to turn is Kicker. If you don't know what Kicker is, it's basically you cast a spell and then you pay the kicker cost, which is an extra cost while you're casting it, and you get a bonus effect. I'll talk a bit more on that later because I will be going over the Morrow preview stuff that he kind of like gave us a preview of what things are going to be in the set, but not actually saying what they are. So that's kind of in line with my predictions. That's after these were all just predictions I had prior to anything besides, I think, the command cards that were posted for each house. So moving on, let's go over what I think is going to be like that. I think there will be 5 legendary wand artifacts that play into each house, with 2 options on each, and a third if it's equipped to a creature. So, and I think the equip cost will be pretty high, and maybe possibly another hoop to jump through to have it equipped, kind of like, like you have to earn the wand in some way, shape, or form by like sacrificing a creature or something like that, discarding a card, whatever. So if you don't know, I'll go over really quick. There are 5 houses. This first one is Lorehold. It's the Boros colors. It's red and white, but now it's called Lorehold. It's not going to stick, most likely. It's most likely going to continue to be called Boros, which are those 2 colors. I think it'll be an artifact that creates a spirit, because based off of this card, which is the Lorehold command card, I think they want to create spirits, they want to make things protected, and they want to deal damage. So I think it'll create a spirit as one option, deal damage equal to the number of spirits you control to target creature or player, maybe, I don't know. And then grant indestructible if equipped, but remember, very high equip cost and probably pretty high hoop to jump through as well. I mean, obviously there's some stuff you can do to get around this with Resolute Strike, which would be pretty cool. But hey, that would make it for an interesting... There's a lot of indestructible creatures in Standard right now anyways because of the gods, so it's not that broken. Then for Lorehold, that they want to make, like, I guess, spirits deal damage. They're like literally on Lorehold command there's a gun scroll, so I don't know. But also, side note, all the pictures for these that I'm going to be showing, not the commands, but the banners of Lorehold and the other colleges, I have a crush on every single one of these creatures, or people, because some are orcs, there's like, I think Lorehold is a Loxodon, so, but they're all so freaking great. Like, I love the art on all of them, and I'll go over why I like each one more and more. Then we have Prismari, which is red and blue, which is the Izzet colors. For their command, obviously they want to draw cards, they want to deal damage, destroy target artifact. I don't think having another artifact that makes treasure tokens is good. So I think this artifact will draw a card, discard a card, just like that. Have a little looting. Destroy target artifact for a cost. And then if it's equipped, maybe flying. Maybe? I don't know. But I really like this orc, looking like they're having a lot of fun. Really love the art on this one. Moving on is Quandrix, which is the Simic colors. It's blue and green. I think, based on the command, I think what would be reasonable for the artifact is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, shuffle target card from your graveyard into your library, and then if it's equipped, grants an activated ability to return it to its owner's hand. So you can return the creature to its owner's hand as like a protection thing. That'd be pretty interesting, I think. And then next is Silverquill, which has this lovely gentleman as the face. Very attractive. Love the like feather tattoo on the side of the head. Very cool looking. This is Orzhov colors, black and white. So they want to, it looks like draw cards, steal life, and then reanimate, which is interesting because the next one also has reanimating stuff as well. So I think the target, it'll have target player loses life and draws a card. And then also return creature with a CMC of 2 or less from the graveyard to your hand. Not like this where it returns it to the battlefield because that's a little powerful to have multiple stuff. I like to think of these wands as like they're not as powerful as the commands, but they're on the battlefield permanently, hopefully. So that they actually are, they're legendary. They're supposed to be about the houses. So it makes sense for them to be very similar to these command cards, but more repeatable. So you don't want them to be too abusable. Even though the first one I talked about gives indestructible, which is pretty big. But yeah, and then grants lifelink if equipped. This Orzhov take, the Silverquill, seems a little different than Orzhov, so I don't know if lifelink's going to be even involved in them, but that's black and white's like thing is lifelink, so it makes sense. And then Witherbloom is my absolute favorite. This druid that we're looking at right now is adorable. She is immediately competing with Vraska as like my favorite look. I hope she's a legendary creature because I've like fallen in love with her. She's amazing. I think the artifact will have a mill ability, an activated ability. That's what they want to do based off the command card. And a -1/-1 ability that stacks for how many creatures you have in your graveyard, which I think is very Golgari Witherbloom. They're very similar. All the other ones are kind of different. They have like a little different flavor, but Witherbloom seems very Golgari. And then the last one is grants Death Touch if equipped. So I really think there's a high possibility of a legendary wand cycle, which would be pretty cool. Not super powerful, but it'd be very interesting to have. And obviously they'll all have like the activated ability cost will be in their house colors, which I think would be cool. All right. For whatever reason, for this next prediction, it's very far-fetched, probably not going to happen, but when Strixhaven was announced, I thought, that's interesting. For whatever reason, I feel like Niv Mizzet's going to be involved somehow, way, shape, or form. He might not actually be there physically because he is the living guild pact now, as shown on Niv Mizzet Reborn. So that might be difficult for him to leave, but I have a feeling he is a 1,000-year-old dragon wizard. I feel, or like thousands and thousands of years old. I feel like there's going to be some reference to him some way, and I don't doubt that this school has some kind of interplanetary travel that allows for other wizards to come there. So I think there's going to be some reference to Niv Mizzet somewhere. That's just like a little prediction, a little pet prediction I have that I really think. Oh yes. That leads directly into my next prediction, which is I believe this school has some way of interplanetary travel that doesn't require to have a spark like a planeswalker to travel between the planes. This school sounds like a school that like takes mages and wizards from all over different planes of existence and nurtures them and makes them better. So it doesn't make sense for them to all be on the same plane. And obviously there's some planeswalkers involved and stuff like that, so that makes sense. But I feel like there's an interplanetary travel that is that they're capable of, which we've seen already in, I think Kaladesh had the planar bridge. So it makes sense for this school to be able to recruit people and go to other planes and be like, hey, come to our school. And then, so I think that's going to be a big thing, especially with the way we've seen Vorinclex in Kaldheim go back to what we assume is Phyrexia. Who knows? It could be Strixhaven. Like, maybe Strixhaven's already been invaded, but I doubt it. I don't think they're going to, I hope they don't kill off a plane that quickly. That'd be terrible. Okay. I have one card prediction that I just think will be funny. I think there's going to be a Voldemort style card. I don't even know if it's going to be good. I just think it's going to be very similar. It's going to make artifacts that are Horcruxes that give that creature indestructible, kind of like Flanter. There's a Lich card. I can't say the first. It's on screen. It gives like indestructible, and if that thing goes away, it dies. If an artifact goes away, it dies. I think that'd be very cool, very fun. That's like the only like Harry Potter thing I want to make predictions about. Okay. So the rare slash mythic dual face cards in this set, I think are going to be a legendary wizard on one side, and on the other side a sorcery or instant spell that is their signature spell, similar to the gods. It just makes sense. I don't know why. It just makes sense to me that the legendary wizards will have a signature spell on the other side as the modal dual face cards. I just think that's going to make the most sense, and I think it's a really solid prediction. And yeah, that one's just simple, straight to the point. I think that one's going to happen. Okay, 2 more, then I'm going to move on to the Mark Rosewater prediction stuff or preview stuff that he had. I think the storyline is going to revolve around some artifact or something that is like underneath the school. For whatever reason, whenever there's a mage college, whether it's Skyrim, Harry Potter, other kinds, there's something secret underneath the school that just makes it like attractive for evil things to try to get to. And I think that leads into my next one. Jitaxia? I don't know how to say its name. The Phyrexian Praetor of Blue, I think, is going to be the hidden Phyrexian trying to steal whatever powerful artifact that is. And that's going to link up and link up and link up until eventually we get a like Phyrexian invasion across like multiple planes. That's going to be pretty crazy. Or just one big new Phyrexia that like tries to destroy everything. Who knows? I think that's going to happen. Okay, moving on to the Mark Rosewater previews. If you don't know, Mark Rosewater is, I think, the lead designer or something like that for MTG cards, and every time there's a new set coming out, he puts a little preview with just lines of text. For example, the first one is a white card with the rules text, draw 3 cards. I think that's great. I hope it's not terrible. That's all I have to think about that. I don't have any predictions about it other than that. A Planeswalker you know, but not as you know them. My prediction was Kazmina as a teacher. I was wrong. It's Liliana as a teacher. It's Professor Onyx. That's the Planeswalker one. A card featuring Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa's likeness for winning the World Championship. Very cool thing. They did that with I forget who, but it's on oh my god. Fervent Champion. God, I don't know why. I've been playing that card forever, and I couldn't think of the name because eventually you just stop like remembering the names of cards, I guess. They did something very similar to that. Let me see. It actually says on the card right here, so I might as well give credit to the person's name. 2018 World Champion Javier Dominguez. There you go. They do that every once in a while. They put the winner's face on cards, which is really cool. Next. Introduction of a new evergreen keyword. I think that's going to be Kicker. I just do. Kicker is associated with Wizards. The fact that Kicker was in Zendikar and never really got a footing outside of Limited, I think it's the perfect spot. I think Kicker is going to be good. I think Kicker is a very fun mechanic, and I think it's just great to have the alternate cost on there if it's good in the early game and good in the late game. It's really good. I love Kicker. I think it being a evergreen keyword, and I looked it up. It's not an evergreen keyword, so I think that's a great one. That's my prediction for what that is. A red sorcery that you can have as many copies in your deck as you want. I really hope this is only playable in Limited, because if it's even halfway decent, having like a 40-card deck of just sorceries that deal damage that probably stack on top of each other is terrifying. So I hope it's just playable in Limited and kind of a fun jank card. Okay. A future shifted card appearing for the first time in a premiere set other than Future Sight. Many suspect this will be Nyx. I don't know Future Sight very well, so I think I'll go with the masses and say Nyx. It's a card that if a card was It's a counter spell that if a card was cast for no mana, you get to counter it for free. Great. That's perfect. That fits in the meta right now. Totally fine. A modal dual-face card with the same card type on both sides that hasn't been printed before. People are speculating this will be the Kinrith twins, Will and Rowan. I think that's perfect. They've already been previewed that I think they're on the booster box art. Cool. I think that's dope. I think Will and Rowan are pretty fun, and I think the fact that they are trying to make them very unique where they have their own cards in Battle Bond, I think. They had the same card. They're on the same card in the Scion Twins in Eldraine, and now this, I think it's very cool. A card sharing something never shared before. No idea what that means. Might be lore. Maybe. I don't know. That's so vague. I cannot predict that. Maybe something to do with Phyrexia. A cycle of enemy dual lands finishing off a 10-card cycle. If you don't know what that means is, for example, right now we have the Pathways. Those are dual lands. They are modal face double-sided cards that have like one color on one side, one color on the other. You can play it on either or. We have that full cycle already from Zendikar Rising and Kaldheim. Now they're finishing off another one. I think it's going to be the show lands, I think is what they're called, from Shadows over Innistrad. Basically, they are dual lands. For example, this one on screen, I forget the name of all these cards because I haven't used them in forever. But it's a... the one I have is a swamp and an island, and basically you have to, when you play it, you reveal a swamp or an island, and then it comes into play untapped. Really cool, very interesting with the dual snow lands that we have right now that are that are both land types, not just dual lands. They are both land types, and the triomes. I think this is very flexible. I think it's very cool, and will be very strong, and then continue to stay pretty strong as we move out of Eldraine, Theros, Ikoria, Core 2020 or 2021 standard. Okay, that's it for right now. I'm going to check Reddit to see if I've missed anything else and continue on with my predictions to confirm them or not. So here we go. All right. They haven't spoiled anything else. I've made it in the clear. I'm going to post this video as quickly as possible, probably tomorrow. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to make. I'm probably going to do more videos like this because I'm not opening as much packs anymore. I have one box of Time Spiral Remastered coming on Wednesday. So that'll probably come out next week. And then whenever I have a down moment, I have a recording of me opening Throne of Eldraine stuff. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like. Comment what you think my predictions are. Comment if you believe me about my Kazmina prediction. That was a huge shot in the dark that I got right a month and a half ago. And that's about it. Please share the video around if you thought it was entertaining. Even if you didn't. If you said, look how stupid this guy is. He's trying to make us believe that he predicted this, even though he probably just read it off of a Twitter. I didn't do that. But you can share the video around and tell people I did to make fun of me. Whatever gets the views. I don't care. I'm Eric the Human. I'll see you guys next time.